Yes, y'all. SheraSeven1 is 100% correct. Okay, so I'm talking to my cousin, right? Now, I don't usually chill with my cousins, but we were around each other, and I think she noticed like I was dressed like this, and she was dressed kind of similar. Like you could kind of tell we were in like the same headspace, right? So she brought up Shera name, and I'm just like, yeah, I be watching her on YouTube and stuff, and I'm like, when I first started listening to her, like everything she said was so radical. Like everything was like, okay, oh my God, she just said that. But if you listen to her, you already know. You already know. Sorry, y'all. You gotta put these things where they go. Okay. But yeah. So she says a lot of radical stuff. So we were talking about. She was like, I was like, when I first started listening to her, I was very skeptical, to say the least. And she started telling me about her and her kid's dad, and I was like, oh, the stuff she was saying is right. Because my cousin was saying how she was in the, like a hypergamous situation where the man was hypergamous. Okay, so I'm gonna paint the picture for y'all so y'all can see what I mean. That's why I was like, oh yeah, she would be on the money because it was just reversed. So they met when they were in high school. Now she used to be somewhat like me, like real natural. She had like a really big afro. She was tall. Well, she's still tall. Was real slender, real curvy. Like she had a lot of chest and butt, but like a real slim, thick, like. And dark skin and the whole nine. And you grow up, you hear these things like black women are beautiful and they don't have to do anything. They have a lot of natural beauty, which is true. But you still gotta put your stuff on. I usually would say that, the whole cuss word, but you gotta put your stuff on, but you don't be knowing that at first. So they met when they were in high school. He was 2 grades under her, so she was older than him by 2 years. Keep that in mind. So she already, like her body is cold, like she real cold. She just kind of doesn't notice it because she's doing like the whole natural thing. So she don't know like she a baddie. She just like, oh, I'm beautiful. I look good, right? So like guys kind of prey on that. When you're when you like a bad, B word, but you don't know it, like they like to prey on that a lot because they're like, oh, I can get the good looking woman without her knowing that I'm supposed to also give her the world. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah. But, okay, so they got together. They were dating. Or, I'm going to use the word dating very loosely. It would probably be better to say that they were, like, together doing physical things together. Y'all just put the dots together. Come on, we grown. Put the dots together. But they were doing physical thing together. It was, like, one of those, it was a high school relationship, so, yeah. But here is where here's where it gets interesting, but I already feel like that beginning part was a little bit of a gem. Like, put your stuff on. But, yeah, so when she was in high school, she moved out. She moved out of living with her parents or whatever, and she got an apartment, okay? So she got an apartment. She got her little kids with her. It's just her in this apartment. Now, he shows up one day with a whole suitcase, saying that he was having problems with his mom, so he left. Now, remember, like, she graduated, but he's 2 years behind her. He's still supposed to be in school. So she's just like, yeah, because in her mind, this is where being a nice person just gets people into stuff it shouldn't. You gotta be a bee sometimes, okay? But yeah, so she's like, that's a lot on a person. You trying to finish school, your mom tripping, you ain't got nowhere to go. So she let him stay with her. Now, keep in mind, I was listening to one of Shera's videos, and she said this. Because the lady was like, she's going to be homeless, and she was so bad. And she was like, well, Shera, how do I ask him to move in? And she literally told her, like, just show up with a suitcase. And that's why I was listening, y'all. I'm listening to her tell me the story, and I'm like, yo, he just showed up with a suitcase. And he was able to move in with her. She said, yeah, come on. And think about what that's like though. Like, you just move in, nothing was talked about. So it wasn't like, oh yeah, you pay this bill, you pay this bill. She's just like, come on. She's like, subconsciously, I was about to, y'all, I'm still learning to be polished. But I forgot what I was about to say. But yeah, though, he just moved in. So Sheena told him, like, yeah, you gotta pay this bill or that bill. I'm gonna actually just go ahead and tell y'all all her business, because she don't care, because I don't show my family on here anyway, and I ain't gonna say her name. So yeah, it was like they already had a kid together, and that kid was getting like some sort of check. That's how she was able to, like, you know, pay all of her bills. So see, and then she was too fair, because she kept being like, well, that's our kid and the bills is paid off with a check for him, so it's not really fair to make him pay something, because technically I'm not paying something. It was just, I'm like, girl. So yeah, so he wasn't paying anything, living a true. And also, he stopped going to school. He stopped furthering his education, or finishing the education he was supposed to finish. He was just living it. Now, here is where he went wrong. Because most young men, they don't realize they're in a hypergamous situation. They're just trying to get over on you. So they're just like, oh, I'm gonna move in with her. So then, honestly, the reason he probably came to her house was probably because his mom was like, you gotta pay something, or you gotta go to school. She was just trying to finish raising him. And he just didn't want to do that. Now, what they don't realize is that, yes, you are now in the woman's role. Because she was like, when they first got together, because, you know, a lot is carried for a man by, like, how he does physically in the bedroom and how he looks. He has to do those two things well to be able to pull off what he was trying to pull off. But he started to let his body go. She said when they got together, he had like a six-pack. You know, it was like real, like, nicely built, like nice. And she was like, she got pregnant with the last kid that they have. They have two together. And when she got pregnant with their daughter, he was just, you know, at home with her, eating and ordering food and going to restaurants. And it was just like, yeah, his body left. And then she was like, after she did have the baby, like, stuff just started to, I guess, come into focus, because she had so much stuff like going on. Hold on, y'all. Chill off me. I'm making a YouTube video. All right, give me a minute. I'll be up there. All right, y'all. My son trying to play his game, and I keep having to plug it in for him because he don't know what he's doing. But he only 7. But yeah, she was saying like his body started to go, and she wasn't like not subconscious. She wasn't like conscious of how all this stuff works. This stuff just like naturally happened. So once his body started to go, just subconsciously, her mind just went to all like, okay, well, you gotta pay something because your looks are no longer getting you by. But it didn't move in her head like that. It just came out naturally, like, okay, if your body is going, you have to pay something. That was just naturally how it worked. She wasn't aware of like hypergamy. She wasn't aware of sugar babies, sugar mamas. She wasn't aware of any of that. It's just like it started to happen, and then she was like, okay, well, what else can you do? Yeah. And then he left. He left. She asked him, like, okay, what bills are you gonna pay? And then he left. Like a hypergamous woman should. Like, you think somebody is being far-fetched. Like, you think she was being far-fetched. Like, that doesn't really happen. But yeah, it does. So he might not even be aware of the game necessarily, but once you start to look like something that he doesn't like, naturally in his head it's gonna be like, all right, what else can she do? So yes, you have to look the way he wants you to look. I thought that that was a little like far fetched because I've always been raised to where it's like you can look how you want to look and you just need to find somebody who likes you that way, which I still believe can work, but I believe it will take you very long, and it's kind of just not worth it because you can like trickle little parts of yourself in there. Like, just look at what I got on today. Really like the shirt, but it still gives me like a little bit of like a bohemian vibe, and it got like little frillies on the bottom, and it's like this is still very much me because it's like the wig, kind of not, but the donut headscarf here that I would not wear outside if I was, doing my thing. I would not wear this outside, but it's really cute though. Like, you can keep putting yourself into what you're doing. But yeah, that just blew my mind. I'm like, so what she's saying really be right. And it's just like nature. Nature will just like lead you on these paths. That's why you have to keep moving in your feminine no matter what. Because if you don't, the roles will reverse. And then you will not respect him. Because she said that entire relationship, she never respected him. She said she wasn't really thinking about it though. She was just like, yeah, I just never had any like respect for him. I just looked at him more as like a child that needed to be taken care of. And I'm just like, it's just crazy. But I'm gonna stop talking y'all ear off. The more things I notice that go together, I'll be back to talk about them. But yeah, y'all be good out here. Be aware of things around you. And you have a good day.